Guys, I just got out of a service call that I'm going to put up. If not today, I'm going to put it up tomorrow. I should be able to put it up today. Guys, I got another call I got to get to, but this customer is running behind a little bit, so I got like at least a good half an hour, 40 minutes of time to kill with y'all. But welcome to, I think, episode 27 of GMC Talks. Guys, I'm going to get into a great topic here. And this can be very subjective. It depends on, like I said, the person's experience, whether the technician is commercial, residential. But I'm going to tell you my experience of the worst kind of customers to deal with. And this has nothing to do with, like I said, particular people. But it's kind of like, once I explain this, you're going to understand exactly what I'm about to go into. But I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to get in here. And we're going to talk because it's been a while. Guys, we've been getting a bunch of heat pump calls. I just came from one. I got another call that came in last night. I called this customer and left them a voicemail, and there's another one that came in yesterday, guys. It's something about heat pumps, guys. Like a lot of customers, just to preface this by saying, like with heat pumps, a lot of customers don't get heat pump serviced in the summer. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't have time this summer to get it serviced, whatever the case is. But let me turn my Bluetooth off. Hold on. Maybe they didn't have time to get it serviced in the summer. But guys, like I said, anytime a heat pump goes unserviced in the summer, ultimately something's going to break down in the winter, and then it's going to lead into a snowball effect. Like, guys, I had this call yesterday. I didn't bother putting this up online, but this customer had a heat pump. I don't know what the brand was. Like, this is like some overseas brand. But she basically said that, and I quote, she said that, yeah, we came out we had a technician come out this past summer. The AC unit was freezing up and it was leaking water. He came out to add refrigerant. He said that there was a leak, but we told him we just wanted to get by the summer. But she did say that another company said that eventually it's going to leak out again, and you're going to have the same issues in the winter. And she said she understood that, but she got so busy. And like I said, that was like one of like 12 units that she had there. She ended up, like I said, forgetting about it. And like, she called us out there yesterday. And like, we got out there, guys. And like, sure enough, I don't know if it was a Glee. It was some type of weird name. But we got out there, guys. And it was giving us a low pressure lockout. And like, sure enough, we had to get a leak check. Well, the customer had to get a leak check done. But like, sure enough, guys, like not every problem can be prevented. Not everybody's schedule is the same. And that's something that you're going to learn from experience. Not every customer can get everything done right then and there. It can either be due to, financial, stipulations, or it could be time. Not everybody's time schedule is the same. Some people work during the day. Some people work 20 hours. They can't always get things done right then and there. So, like, everything has to be planned. But sometimes, guys, like I said, with these heat pumps, like, I always err on the side of caution whenever I fix a heat pump in the winter. And I tell customers all the time, the same thing I tell you guys, like, you have to get heat pumps checked out, like I said, before it gets cold, because ultimately I'd rather take my chances of having a heat pump run in the winter knowing that it's been serviced in the summer versus waiting until, letting the dice roll all summer, like, so without knowing how it's working. And now when it breaks down in the winter, guys, who wants to be doing a leak check, in 20-degree weather, like right now, But like I said, guys, what do I know? I'm just the guy that fixes this stuff. But guys, let's get into the topic here. We're going to get into some crazy customers here. And I'm looking at comments here. Make sure y'all talking English here. But guys, let's get into the topic here. Let's talk about the worst customer to deal with. And once again, this is my personal opinion. Like I said, guys, by now you should already know how I roll. Like I said, I keep things simple. I like giving customers information. I don't benefit from, like I said, deceiving customers. I don't benefit from working around things. I like giving customers the immediate issue, what the solution for the problems is, and like I said, guys, this is another thing. If you can derive options with your solutions, that's always going to help the customer out. For instance, the call I just came from, guys, like I said, you'll see this if not later on today, tomorrow. It was a heat pump. If you have a heat pump failure, regardless, if it's boiler, heat pump, furnace, if you recommend replacement, guys, giving customer repair costs, even if the repair is not recommended, guys, a customer still wants to see, okay, if I even go with this repair, even if it's not recommended, I still want to see what I'm up against. And like, that's what I mean by deriving options from your solutions, guys. Like, prime example, I do this on every single call. And like, eventually, if you guys are practicing the right way, and you know, it depends on who you're under, this should be relatively easy to do with every single diagnosis. But every single call I go on, it's not hard for me to figure out if I recommend replacement, how to give a customer a price for repairs. But like, ultimately, guys, I never get any kickback from customers. And like I said, 100% of the time, it's either the customer go with us, or if they can fix it themselves, I have no issues with that. Or if they can find a cheaper, you know, another HVAC company that's cheaper, you know, have at it, you know. But the point is, guys, like, I can walk away from every single customer, every single job, knowing that I knew what was going on. I carefully and clearly explained everything to the customer, that they knew what was going on, and they knew the difference between option 1, option 2, and option 3. But like I said, guys, me hearing the word no, and that's another thing I learned early on in service, guys. Like, you know, you can do everything right and the customers can still say no, and you can't really take it personal, because like I said, like, you taking things personal, you know, it has something to do with the customer. Now you're, you know, now, like I said, I mentioned this in a bunch of videos before, guys, about you guys having the right mentality going into service calls and even installs for that matter. If you walk into a service call already messed up in your head, now ultimately it's not going to take that much for you and the customer to get into it. And now you got to know you got more to lose than the customer. You're going in their house. And now, guys, like I said, if you're going in assuming the customer should do this or say that, it's just like, guys, like, no, like, go into every call with a neutral mind. Most importantly, know what the objective is. Know why you're out there. You're not out there to have a conversation. You're out there hopefully to fix a problem or install a unit or do a maintenance, whatever the case is. But make sure you guys are like taking care of why you're out there to begin with, you know, like. But on top of that, man, like, just, you know, you got to take care of emotions out of the equation. I know some customers are going to be easier to deal with than others, but like, you can't get too high or too low, because like, ultimately, guys, like, with experience, there's a great equalizer. You know, if you're too high, assuming every customer is going to spend $10,000, assuming every customer is going to renew, you get that 1 or 2 customers that say, hey, tell you what, man, like, I don't have it in the account right now. Can I get back to you guys in the spring? That has nothing to do with you. If they don't have the money, then they just can't do it. Like, but like, ultimately, guys, like, this shit isn't really that hard. Like, I don't know how else to like simplify it for you guys, but like, you got to have the right expectations with dealing with service. But I didn't have these expectations. The expectations came with service. I mean, the expectations came with experience, guys. It came with me learning, like I said, you know, from trial and error, by me trying to explain things to customers like technicians, and like having customers look confused, guys. I've been through the whole ringer, and like, you know, that's the beauty of experiences. Like I said, guys, now I can look back and I can pinpoint exactly, you know, what my thought process was getting into service versus like, hey, damn, this isn't really how I thought it was. This isn't that difficult. Or like, maybe something I thought was simple ended up being a pain in the ass. But like, guys, like, if you stick around long enough, that's why like every single, like I said, rookie that starts with me, or like, you know, every newer guy in the trade, like I said, I run across, like, I always tell them, they always have more questions than answers. But like, ultimately, guys, most of the questions you have, you're gonna find out if you stick around long enough. You're gonna get your answers, unless you don't want to know. If you don't want to know, then like, I don't know what else to tell you there, you know. But guys, with no further ado, let's get into the topic here. We're going to get into the worst customers to deal with. Now, with that being said, I just preface this by telling y'all, like, my procedures is very black and white. Is our company for everyone, or is my procedures for everyone? Probably not. But with that being said, guys, for most customers, you know, the result is always the same. You know, we get their system up and going, and ultimately they turn into reoccurring customers. But guys, you want to know the worst customer to deal with? And from my experience, almost 11 years, the worst customer to deal with is the nonchalant customer. Not the broke customer, not the rich customer, but the nonchalant customer. And I'm pretty sure if you guys are running service calls right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those nonchalant customers, I had one, like I said, I had one the other day. I'm about to get into this, of why I'm telling you this. But the nonchalant customers, they can either be in the hood, they can be in the mansion. As soon as you open the door, like I say, you should have your own procedures as far as like what you say, you know, how you go from point A to point B to point C. The point is, they know why they called you. It's not like you're showing up there, like I said, to hang out with them. They know you're out there to fix their heater, fix their AC. But like the nonchalant customer, like I said, maybe they're busy, whatever the case is, guys. I don't know, but like they're there, but they're not really there. Like, that's the easiest way I can explain it. Like, you open the door, oh yeah, the thermostat is there, the furnace is there. Do what you need to do. Wait a minute, man. I'm like, wait a minute, sir. Wait, So can you just give me the recap here? What's going on? What is it doing? Is it making a noise? Is it leaking? Is it just not? Like, eventually you need context as a service tech. You're not relying on everything the customer says, but you need a gist of what the problem is. Like, okay, what's the biggest issue is? Is it making a noise? Is something leaking? But like, that's the context most service techs need, unless you already been there before. But like, guys, like I said, the nonchalant customers, you got to learn to be patient with them. Like I said, when I first started out in service, guys, like, the nonchalant customers used to confuse me because I'm like, wait, this person called us out here to fix their heat or AC. You assume that they had time to at least explain what they told you over the phone, like just say XYZ. But like, it took me a while to understand, and I'm like, wait, like, I can't take this personal, because I'm like, yo, like, maybe like I said, they're on a business call, they're on a work call, they got kids running around or whatever. Like I said, guys, most of the time you don't know what's going on at a person's house until you show up. But like, ultimately, guys, you got to reserve some space between, like I said, what you think is going on and what you actually see. I'll repeat this. As a service tech, reserve some space between what you think is going on and what you see. Because, guys, what I think is going on the way to a customer's house, the heat is not working, the boiler's not working, that's what I think is going on. But when I get there, if I got to climb through a mountain of God knows what to get to the boiler, that's what I see is going on. But like, that's why you got to have proper expectations. Understand there's some crazy shit that no one ever seen before that you could possibly see on your next call. I'm not saying to be paranoid, but you have to kind of like not be too high, not be too low. You just got to be chill, like, know why you're there for. And like I said, it generally works out every single time in the long haul. But like, guys, those nonchalant customers, like, patience is the best thing. Like, maybe you have to reiterate, hey, ma'am or sir, hey, before you get on the phone call, but then you just say that XYZ. You might have to, like I said, just sum up what was said over the phone, assuming they booked the call like you. If you guys don't have a front office, if like say, if you're the person who booked the call, you might have to, like I said, just say, hey, before you do this XYZ, I just want to sum up. Then you say the unit upstairs was leaking or was making, like, just make sure you know, because guys, the worst thing you can do as a service tech is to not ask the right questions up front, and now you go to a thermostat, you go to a piece of equipment with not enough context, and now you out there wasting your damn time. You in the basement looking at an air handler when the customer said the issue was with the outside unit making a noise. You knew that the unit was making a noise, but you just assumed that it would be inside, and now you're inside looking for a sound that doesn't exist. And now you've been in the basement for like 30 minutes, and the customer's asking, hey, what's going on? Like, guys, I've been through the ringer. Like, I tell you almost every scenario, but like, ultimately, guys, like, it doesn't take you learning every scenario to get a gist of, like I said, how to deal with almost every customer. I can deal with angry customers all day, because most angry customers come from people that's misinformed, guys, or ill-informed. It doesn't really matter, like I said, what was done with the last contractor, guys. Like, angry customers are the easiest customers to deal with. I'm gonna say this one more time, guys. Angry customers are the easiest, keyword, the easiest customers to deal with, because if they didn't give a shit, they won't be angry. They just won't care. They'll be nonchalant. Nonchalant people are the hardest customers to deal with, guys. Because like I said, I see this all the time. But like I said, guys, I know you guys deal with this too. But the nonchalant people, it's hard to get them to give a fuck about anything. Like, my take on the guys is this. This is my personal opinion. If a customer doesn't care about something, then why should I care about it? Like, if they don't care about getting their heater AC fixed, then like, I mean, just call us when you need us. I'm not, you get what I'm saying? But the point is, you called us to come out here for a reason. But like, I get out there and now it's like, all right, yeah, well, do what you need to do. I'm like, all right, well, before I get to that point, let me just ask you a few questions. XYZ. I just need kind of like some context so I can make sure I can stay efficient with troubleshooting. I don't want to waste 40 minutes in the crawl space or in the attic, not knowing what's going on. Like, it can really, like I said, guys, that's how I work. I work very, very efficiently. I don't like to waste more time than needed, because right now, guys, like, we're getting into peak winter season. Like I said this earlier, between the holidays, it can get kind of like fizzy with the schedule. But after December, that's usually between December and like February, that's when it's asking time. That's when you have to, like, you got to be dialed in. If you're not down there at full capacity, you got to be dialed in and like make sure, like I said, you're handling business. But like, once the schedule gets busy, guys, you don't want to get to a point where like you're just like, you feel like you're kind of like, you can't ask a customer a question. Like, no, like, you have to stay in control of the service call. Like, you can't, and like I said, the customer called you out there for a reason. You're not going to your aunt or your cousin's house. Like, that's why you have to stay professional at all times, guys. But like, those nonchalant customers, guys, like, I wish I had a solution of how to deal with them. But let me look at the comments, guys, because y'all know I can yap for years, man. This shit don't end. Hold on. Let me look at the comments, y'all. And for y'all that's just getting on, I got some time in between my calls. I'm just yapping and talking shit. Hold on. LeBron fell off. Luigi, LeBron ain't fell off. What you talking about? LeBron still that bull. Greetings for Germany. That's what's up. Jamie, I don't eat McDonald's, man. I'm a vegetarian. Let's see here. But yeah, as far as like I said, man, with those nonchalant customers, it's like I said, I want to get y'all opinions on this. Like I said, everybody has their arch nemesis of customers. Like I said, that you know, like I said, everybody has their favorites of people that, like I said, it doesn't even feel like customers. And we call those zero check. Well, we call those blank check customers, guys. Blank check customers are the customers that, you know what, it's almost like a family. Like, you're still professional nonetheless, but like, you don't think twice about, like I say, anything that's going on. They already trust you. When a bill comes up, okay, just charge it to my card, or here's a blank check, just write out. Like, that's not going to be everybody's scenario, but you will have a handful of customers that, like I said, that trust you. They know what's up. I'm not talking about those customers, guys. Every company, every technician has a handful of customers, like I said, that they know they can trust. The customer knows them. Like, it's, you know, it's 100% all the time, guys. Like, it's nothing to think about. But if you ask those same technicians, you know, what customers that they hate to deal with, like I said, guys, like, some people, man, and I heard this all before, and that's why I'm bringing this up, guys. Like, I had a customer, I had a customer, like I said, near Newtown, yesterday. Like, the dude got it. Like I said, has a pretty nice sized place. Like I said, it's crazy place. And like, he was telling me a situation that happened a couple years ago with a different HVAC company that came out. But guys, like I said, I had preconceived notions. You know, when I first started out, that's another topic I made in the earlier GMC talks. Like, I had preconceived notions. Like, yeah, if a customer is in a rich area, they should be able to afford this. Guys, like I said, you'll never know how someone's living or what's going on until, like I said, you're in that scenario of you're out there to fix something. Like, sometimes you'll never know. The only thing you know is like what you see sometimes, and that, you know, the old saying is true. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Like I said, what you see sometimes may not be the reality. Like, just as someone has something, that don't mean they're willing to pay more money. Like, and I found out the hard way, guys. Like, you know, this is back in like what, down there 2016, 2017. You know, me trying to sell maintenance agreements. Like, most of our maintenance agreements came from, and I'm not even going to say low income, guys. Like, because where a customer live at, that doesn't mean they don't have money. And like I said, people buy and people don't buy all the time for different reasons. You don't take it personal, but like, if they don't want to buy, it has nothing to do with them not having money or not. Like, but you gotta understand, guys, like, most of our early maintenance agreements didn't come from customers with mansions. It came from, like I said, everyday people or paycheck to paycheck people. But like, I never looked at them like that, because I'm like, yo, like, you know, I know why it's important, and I know I can communicate to customers why maintenance is important. But if they don't want to do it, that has nothing to do with me. My job is done. They've been informed, they've been educated, but like, I always gave the decision to the customer. But like, guys, like I said, I knew that from starting off. Like, me being an employee, I thought, you know what, man, all I need is like 5 rich customers, and like I said, I'll be good. But now, like, those rich customers are far and few. And when I say rich being relative, not how they dressed or what they got, but like what they're willing to spend. Those customers are far and few in between. But like, ultimately, guys, like, you just want customers that have a need for your service. I don't give a fuck about where you at. Like, and I hope you guys feel the same way. Like, everybody wants to run every service call in their neighborhood, but like, guys, I knew that from being a service tech and being an employee. Like, most of your customers are not going to be in your same neighborhood. You know, like, me growing up in Jersey, I knew that eventually I couldn't stay in my same neighborhood. Like, I gotta branch out, and like, if I know I can help people, then it should be everywhere. I shouldn't have to like be stuck into, like, you know, staying, like I said, in New Jersey or staying in Philadelphia. Now, like, I mean, now mind you, I say that to say this, guys, I ain't driving 2 hours like I used to. All money and good money. Like I said, now I made it past through the other side. I'm not driving crazy hours, but I'm not limited to one area. Like, fuck that. If I got to take a 35-minute drive across town, and I know I can make hay, then look, I'm gonna handle business, But guys, that's a good problem to have, knowing that you got a universal skill that you can take anywhere. I'm not stuck in a certain area. If I go to another area, then like it's not gonna work now. Like that's like I said, if you know what the hell you're doing, you got tools and you got some transportation to get to the job, get to the equipment, then like shit, make your hay, But guys, like I said, back to what I was saying, man, that nonchalant customer, they come in all shapes and forms, all races and creeds, and like I said, sometimes it's not their fault. Maybe they never had an HVAC company, or they never had an HVAC technician that was attentive and asked them questions. And like I said, guys, I always try to not take it personal. That's why I say that. If you got a nonchalant customer, I'm trying my best to give you some skills to deal with them. Try to be patient with them. Like I said, just understand that the answers you get may not make sense. Maybe they don't know where anything is. They assume that just because you do HVAC and you showed up to their house for the first time, maybe they think you should know where everything is. Guys, I've seen it all, and that shit makes me laugh. It doesn't make me upset. It just makes me laugh to, like I said, understand that everybody goes through it. Everybody has white people that they deal with, but I don't take it personal, because at the end of the day, guys, if I can get to the equipment, I can make money. Guys, that's the honest deal. You feel what I'm saying? And goal for every company should be to make a profit. But you can't make a profit unless you can get to the equipment and you can assess the situation and you can cover your ass, CYA, make sure you can avoid recalls, But like I said, guys, but with those nonchalant customers, man, I had one. Technically, I had one yesterday, but this wasn't this was from a customer from back in the day, guys. This customer has been with us now for I want to say, probably about 3 or 4 years. And how this customer started off, guys, I'm going to get into this, what I said earlier, what made me think about this. This customer started off as a nonchalant customer. I remember this guy. He has 2 furnaces in the basement, one for the first floor, one for the second floor. And guys, this customer started off as a nonchalant customer. I remember this like it was yesterday, guys. I was training a new guy. This is in the summertime. I think the issue was with the blower motor. And guys, I get out here, and it was a no AC call. We get out there. I present the business card. I do the whole greeting spiel. And he didn't take the business card. This is our first time coming out there. He didn't take the business card. I think he was on the phone, on a Bluetooth or whatever. So he didn't take the card. I'm like, okay, well, wait. I'm here for the heat. I'm here for the AC. I'm just trying to get his attention, to make sure he knows, hey, I need to see XYZ before I can diagnose. But he was busy on the phone, and he was like, yeah. Tell you what, I'm on a work call. The second floor AC. Check that out. It's and I'm like, all right. So where is the thermostat? Where is the furnace? Yeah, the thermostat is up there. The basement's down. I gotta go. And guys, those type of customers, it is what it is. You can't. Once again, I don't have a perfect scenario in my head of how every customer should be. Sometimes you just got to deal with what you got to make lemonade out of lemons sometimes, guys. It is what it is. But after I seen that, I'm like, all right, had the newbie with me, I had a helper with me. I'm like, you know what? All right, man. As long as we know where the thermostat is and we know how to get to the unit, we can hopefully, figure out what's going on, and we can find this customer after we figure out what's going on. But guys, sure enough, like I said, I found the thermostat. This customer had, like I said, once again, we're cool now, but this how I first started, it was rocky. This customer told me that it was a second floor thermostat upstairs. I go upstairs, it's 5 thermostats. And he had 2 furnaces downstairs, and he had 3 in the attic. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And sure enough, guys, I'm like, all right. I'm like, look, I'm not going to turn every one of these thermostats off and on. He got to tell me what area is not working. I'm like, on the phone, he said it was the second floor not working, but I'm like, I need more context. So sure enough, I'm like, yeah, you said the second floor, but you got 3 thermostats up there. Which one is it? And sure enough, still on the phone. We had to go upstairs. He showed me which one it was. I'm like, all right. Once I knew which thermostat it was, at that point, I don't even care where the unit is. At that point, I can use the process of elimination, if need be, to eliminate each and every, like I said, equipment that is running. I can turn everything off and keep the one that's running on. Guys, that's kind of the next level shit. Like I said, to each his own. If you guys got a customer with 12 units, how you figure out which unit is which, as long as you get to the correct unit, guys, there's no wrong method. The biggest thing you want to do, guys, is make sure you're saving your time. That's the biggest thing I want to do. If I got a customer with that many units, I think he has 5 or 6 units. But if I got a customer with that many units, unless I've been there before and I know exactly where everything is, I need to know the black and white. I don't need to know I don't need to know 5 years of history. The only thing I need to know really is where the thermostat is and where the equipment is. Based on what I can see, I can draw my own conclusions and I can help the customer out. But like with that customer, guys, like I said, every couple of minutes, like I said, he couldn't talk for like more than like 10 seconds before he had to jump back on the call. But I'm like, second floor, all right, second floor where? He has 3 thermostats. Is it in the middle? Is it in the master bed? Is it in the guest room? Like where? And like, I mean, guys, it wasn't frustrating, but like this is things you need to know as a service tech. Otherwise, if I would assume like that same scenario, guys, if I would assumed and it just went downstairs or went somewhere, I'm like, yo, like, what are you achieving by just assuming shit? I'm talking you as a service tech, Even if, like I said, the customer is upset, if the customer is busy, you still, like, you as a service tech, you still need to ask questions just to get you some context so you can diagnose, guys. Like, and once again, we don't care about what happened years prior. I don't need the work history, the job history. Only thing I need to know is where the equipment is and where the thermostat is, guys. And like, but ultimately, guys, that's why. And I was telling the helper that was there with me that day, I was like, he's seen that up close and personal, similar to me. I'm like, you got to find a way of slowing the call down. If you speed yourself up too much on service calls, ultimately it's going to lead to a misdiagnosis, and it's going to lead to you, most importantly, wasting all your damn time, especially when it gets busy. Like, I had no problem killing 2 hours on the service call, but it better be worth my while. Like I said, if I'm spending 2 hours on a call, I'm talking in a mansion, 7 to 8 units. If I'm spending that much time, I better damn near know what the issue is. Otherwise, I'm not spending 2 hours of my time, guys, turning the equipment on, and like I said, think about it, guys. Turning the equipment on and all that shit, like it doesn't really benefit you, and it doesn't benefit the customer too, because like if you think about it, like I said, guys, it's just I don't know, guys. This is all common sense to me. Once again, I don't know how you guys diagnose. I can only tell you how I run my shit. And like I said, guys, it never fails in my opinion. Like I said, if you just cross your T's and dot your I's up front, ask the right questions, where everything is, it doesn't really, like I said, slow you down. But like I said, I've been in that scenario before, and this is why, guys, I got the experience of telling you guys, it didn't click like this, since I've been in the trade. It took me like 3 or 4 years of constantly being in this summer and winter, to know that, like I said, guys, if you're just too, like I said, if you're too nearsighted, if you can't like step back and look at the whole scenario, if you're too nearsighted, you're gonna waste a bunch of your time diagnosing and not a lot of time fixing, guys. And like, once again, summertime when it gets busy, or in the wintertime, like how you guys see now, in the wintertime, you gotta make your damn money. Like, it's 20 degrees right now, like you better be making money or planning to make money. It's no, like, think about this, guys. Like, there's spring and fall, there's times to train, there's times to, game plan, but like once kickoff starts, once the tip-off starts, guys, for you basketball fanatics, once the tip-off starts, it's either you making money or you losing money, and like that's the black and white truth of business, But guys, like I said, I wanted to talk with y'all a little bit, man, about those nonchalant customers, and like with that particular customer, guys, like I learned, he ended up being a cool guy. We figured out what the issue was. It was a blower motor. One of his second floor units was in the basement. We found out what was going on there, and like once we figured out what's going on, he was cool with paying and all that, guys. But like ultimately, and this is another weird thing, a weird dynamic about service calls and dealing with customers. So many good things can come from fucked up situations, guys, and most of you guys can attest to this. You can have customers that could seem like generally crazy people, nonchalant people, but ultimately, the more you hang around them, they end up being cool people. So like that's why, guys, I encapsulate all this by saying like nonchalant customers, angry customers, crazy customers, XYZ, guys, any one of the customer avatars that you find the most difficult to deal with, be patient with them, guys, because ultimately every single one of the customers that you deal with all have the same problem. They have a heat issue that they need to be rectified, or they have an AC issue that needs to be rectified. Either or, guys, they're not out there to talk to you. They're not out there to, like I said, sing kumbaya with you. They're out there because you're out there because of an issue the customer is having. I don't want you guys to forget that. I don't want you guys to, like I said, look over that. Understand that the customer is calling you out there for a reason. Get that reason rectified before anything and everything else. And like I said, you can never go wrong. Like I mentioned this before in previous videos. Like, it's not wrong with being buddy with customers, but like that shit can only go but so far if you're not competent in what you're doing. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that method doesn't work. You can be friendly and, like I said, pet the dog, but like eventually, guys, you can pet the dog, but if you can't pet the AC in it or pet that furnace to get them heat, eventually, man, that customer is going to say, hey, by the way, how you making out? if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, guys, then you have to step aside, and that customer's gonna have to call someone else to fix the issue. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, being people savvy is great, but you have to be technical savvy too. They go hand in hand. And if you do it the right way, like I said, you can never go wrong, because like, you're not out there talking like a robot. You're not out there, like I said, having 2-hour conversations with a customer and forget, you're going to forget to fix the unit. You're going to forget why you're out there to begin with, guys. Like, and I've seen that happen before too. Everybody's different, but like I said, guys, like, the black and white will never change. There's people that understand what they need to do, and like I said, those are the people that level up and benefit. But like, for the guys that don't know, hopefully you're learning from, like I said, different perspectives. And like I said, same thing I learned from messing up, asking a bunch of questions, writing notes. But like, all that came together, guys, and like I said, it gave me a simple solution to most modern situations. Like, now, once again, guys, the most negative problem that you can think of with customers, like, I already seen it, like I said, as an employee or as an employer, guys. Like, guys falling through attics, guys, like I said, man, that's another GMC Talks for another day, guys. Like I said, I already been through that multiple times. Like I said, just, mishaps, guys, like I said, just assuming things, and then they end up, learning the hard way, why you shouldn't assume things, why you should know that, like I said, there's a reason why people have standard operating procedures. You can't just go into a customer's house and like just start winging everything, because, you're only one, like I said, fuck up away from just losing a lot of time and losing a lot of money. So, but guys, what time is it? It's 11:16. But guys, I gotta call this customer. He says he's gonna be like 30 minutes behind. It's already been on this live for 30 minutes. But guys, yeah, that sums up this topic. I just want to get into, like I said, my worst customer to deal with at the time. But now, guys, I don't even have, any bad customers to deal with. It's either, like I said, they want to get the job done or not. So like, I don't know. Like, we're not working for free, but we're also not rigging shit. Like, I can't give you a scenario in which, like, I'm dreading to go back to a customer's house. Like, I don't know. Like, when I first started off, when I didn't have the experience of dealing with certain kinds of customers, whether it be nonchalant, whether it be, like I said, the angry customers, it took me a while to deal with them too. Now, with those angry customers, now, like I said, I learned to separate what the customers say from why I'm there. And like I said, if I can rectify the situation, not saying to ignore angry customers, but they're going to feel how they're going to feel regardless. They're going to, if you came out or someone else came out, they're going to hear the exact same story. You got to take time off work to deal with this BS again. Y'all should have fixed this yesterday. Y'all should have fixed this last week. It's 90 degrees. I got a baby in here. It's 20 degrees. I got an elderly person. Guys, I heard it all, and it gets to a point where now, like I said, guys, like, you have to ultimately, regardless of where you came from, as far as with your experience level, you have to get to a level of simplicity where you're having fun with it. Like I said, I want you guys to be, like I said, nut cages with this shit. Like I said, I don't want you to be fanatics like me, but you got to understand, like I said, guys, like, this shit is all entertainment. You can't take it personal. Like I said, you don't know what you're going to see. Hopefully you guys are practicing safe habits out there. You're not being Superman and Spider-Man, like I said, jumping through buildings to get to systems. But like I said, guys, like, once you understand, like I said, the people aspect of it, and you get past the technical aspect of it, like, this shit is all just, entertainment. And like I said, you got to have fun while you're doing it. But guys, I got to rock out. I got to do this call ahead, and once again, be sure to check out the call I came from. I'm going to put that up. If not today, I'm going to put that up tomorrow. And guys, it's going to be a busy week, but keep rocking and rolling. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.